This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
Power Athlete Nation, what is up? It's Luke. We have a little holiday hiatus here. We're having a hard time getting the whole crew together for a little bit of a podcast session here. So what we're going to do is broadcast the audio from a coaches roundtable that we did last week, where we used Google Plus basically to try and get a handful of coaches to sit down and discuss their strategies and what challenges they have in implementing a program at their gym, CrossFit football program at their gym, utilizing the programming on CrossFit football. The two coaches we were able to get connected due to some technical difficulties was first Carl Case. Carl Case runs CrossFit South Bend Strength and Conditioning in Indiana, and he's also an intern for Power Athlete. He's been to a few seminars and helped coach those seminars and provides a lot of valuable input based off of his experience coaching and playing rugby. Carl goes through what they do for their athletes and a lot of the benefits and challenges that he goes through. And then the second coach that we had on our roundtable was Chad Hamilton out of Coda CrossFit in Oklahoma City. Chad is the premier CrossFit football coach down in Coda in the sense that he leads the class. And what's interesting about his demographic is he's coaching for general population, and he has a lot of general pop athletes that are participating in the CrossFit football style programming, and he goes through and gives you an idea of what they did to implement it. Now the difference is Carl utilizes a 90-minute training block, whereas Chad is utilizing a 60-minute training block. So it's pretty interesting to hear what these guys have done. But without further ado, check out this coaches roundtable, and if you want to see the video's all recorded, and we have a previous post that is the coaches roundtable where you can see everything go down. All right, have a good weekend, Power Athlete Nation, and we look forward to getting back on the show here next week.
That's what the internet says.
Hey, Callie, by the way, what is this whole I'm dead to you on the podcast?
I'm dead to you?
No.
That's what you said on the podcast. Steve's dead to me.
I think because you've been
absent.
You haven't committed to that podcast time.
Whatever.
All right, so here we're rolling right now.
We're live. Can you believe my mom's probably watching? Hey, Mom.
So this is the first iteration of what we're going to be doing with our coaches roundtable. We were able to get 3 total coaches connected.
Out of 300.
With hopefully a few more joining up as they figure out the internet. First and foremost, we have Carl Case. Carl, say what's up.
How's it going?
So Carl's one of our intern coaches. He's out of South Bend, Indiana. He's interned at about a half dozen coaches, and he currently utilizes.
Hey, Callie, what is this whole I'm dead to you on the podcast?
Oh, you got to turn that down, Chad.
What's going on?
Podcast, Steve's dead to me.
Feedback. I think because
what Chad's got going on is he has a human twin next to him. Chad, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I'm Chad Hamilton. I'm with Coda CrossFit, and I've been a CrossFit football coach for about a year now, and it speaks to me, so I implemented it to our members, and it's been a great thing at Coda.
Awesome. We just had a seminar at Chad's place. And then last but not least, Professor Booty himself.
What's up, guys?
So Steve Playtech, he's one of our co-hosts of our podcast. And today, I guess what the plan is to talk a little bit about one of the subjects that we get whenever we go to one of our seminars is how exactly are you supposed to implement a program like the one listed on CrossFitFootball.com in a general pop class. And there's really two veins to that discussion, right? Which is going to be 1, logistics, and 2, how do you build interest? Because people hear CrossFit football or they hear, hey, we're going to lift some weights, and it's just not sexy. So I know at CrossFit Balboa at our home gym, we have it implemented, and we managed to fit it in an hour, and we'll get a little bit into that. But first, Carl, why don't you talk about your setup and what exactly you're doing with your gym?
Yeah, so we've been running a CrossFit football specific class since I think June of this year. So what we do is we run ours in actually 90-minute increments. We follow CrossFit football as written on the website a week behind, so that gives us the time to plan appropriately for things we need to change it, or that way we have a good idea of what's coming up. So we run ours in 90-minute segments, and like the website goes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then when we put it out there, we just ask that people, if they wanted to do the class, they give us a minimum of 3 months commitment to that class, so they could see enough time to get the results they want out of it. As we always talk about, kind of the cafeteria CrossFitters. So we were trying to avoid that. So that's kind of how we run ours, is 90-minute increments, and it runs side by side with one of our normal classes. So our general pop classes, we have the luxury of the space to be able to do that and the equipment. So we just kind of make things work on those days as far as the dual classes going on.
That's legit. What do you do it on a private basis as well, or do you have any athletes that are following the program?
We have a few athletes, not necessarily any private work or one-on-one work. They're still kind of directed towards that CrossFit football class, but I have a handful of high school rugby players I work with, because that's what I do on the side is I coach rugby, so I'm able to get them in there. And through the summer, we ran a sport-specific strength and conditioning camp that ran the duration of summer, and we had a number of high school athletes throughout that. Right now, I just have a handful of rugby players that are getting ready for their season that starts in March.
Sounds good. How's the general pop, or I guess your non-traditional field sport athletes who are in your CrossFit football class? How do they like the program?
They like it a lot. A lot of people who were coming into the class have been experienced CrossFitters for us for a while. They've been with us 18 months, 2 years, and they kind of had that life cycle of a CrossFitter where it worked for a while, and now they wanted to get more specified, and they wanted to add strength and size and power. So they trickled into this class, and it's been awesome for them. People are blowing PRs out of the water. They're getting their 3x5s up to what their 1 rep maxes used to be. So the people who are more of our general pop and not our athletic population seem to really enjoy it a lot, and they're seeing those gains.
How do you enforce that 3-month commitment? Is that something you just talk with them up front about, or do you have them buy a specific membership for that? How does that work?
Yeah, so we don't necessarily have them buy a specific membership. It was, I guess, kind of more on the honor system, or kind of just, this is what's going to give you the best results. So when we first developed the class, we told people that we were going to want that minimum 3-month commitment. And from there, people are just stuck. And so when they come in, we ask that they have a sit down with us before they come in the class, so that way they don't just show up. And so we can explain to them what the program is, what we need from them on their part, which is the commitment of the 3 months. And it's kind of that shared understanding that that's what you're going to at minimum need from them.
Right.
So Chad Hamilton, what's the deal? Tell us about your setup.
We've been running a class since July, a formal class since July, and the main idea was to kind of create some interest in this time slot that we had at 5 p.m. And we run a regular CrossFit class at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6, and 6:30. That changed a little bit in July mostly. We made that 5 o'clock class just our specialty course class. So we have my class, the football class, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we have our endurance class on Tuesday and Thursday. So we just try to create a niche of a special kind of hour right there, because there was nobody coming to that regular CrossFit class. So we just saw an opportunity there and wanted to see how it went. And that the first week, we probably had 20 to 35 in the class, and there was just one coach, me, doing it. So that leveled off a bit, though, of course. And normally we'll get 15 people in a class. On a good day, we'll get 20 in a class. The way it looks, though, I guess I've always been preaching the methodology and just the regular CrossFit class that we have. We're a very competitive gym. We roll pretty deep to every competition that's around with 20 to 30 competitors. And so it's younger and it's really competition driven. So catering this very specific class to that has been tough, because it's not, like you said, Luke, it's not sexy, it's not CrossFitty. You don't get to swing and flop around on things, and you got to be really focused and really intense and driven on one single lift. And a lot of people don't like that. And thankfully, we've carved out a niche where we have a good 8 solid who are solely going to that class. We don't have any sort of a commitment. We didn't ask for any commitment from them. It's just kind of check it out, see what you think, and it gives me an opportunity to preach 1 hour. Other than that, the way that it looks as far as the workouts go, it's well, I've only got an hour, and I can spend an hour warming them up. So I'll try to cut 20 minutes for the warm up, and then we'll spend about 30 minutes on the strength, and that's usually just, say on a Monday, that's usually just a squat. That we don't have an opportunity to get a true press in there because of the time commitment, I think. So I'll move that down a lot of times to the workout, the DWAD, and just try to get it in there. But that's kind of been the problem, and not being able to go by the true method of the Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, and then the DWAD on Saturday. So that's been a hard part as well. But other than that, just getting them to get a lot of weight on their back and get moving fast and changing direction for a good 8 to 10 minutes is really my only goal. And they seem to have a good time with that. So everything's moving forward really in a positive way with it.
Yeah, and Chad and I talked a little bit about implementing more of a 5-day or 6-day program and how that would work. And but what's funny is, Chad, back me up on this. Your general pop people and folks who aren't into athletics still embrace the foot race. I mean, getting people pitted against each other in racing, whether it's linear or non-linear, it brings out the inner savage. Yeah,
that's always added. They expect that. We get them going, and it's not uncommon for other classes to come out and join in. So that's always fun to get the community, if you will, involved.
Chad, do any of those 8 kind of regular dudes who do CrossFit football at your gym, do they compete at all? I mean, have they seen some benefits translating to a more competitive environment?
There's a few. There's a few. Most of them are just really committed to me, I guess. Some members like certain coaches, and they're my babies, so they kind of follow me wherever I go.
Tell me about it, Chad. I know. My language.
So there's a few that are pretty hardcore competitors, and they actually haven't had a chance to compete yet. So we're looking forward to that. That's coming up at the end of January. We've got a few events coming up, and that's also something I wanted to touch on, and that's maybe how to cater it at a gym for the general population, and a gym like mine where everybody's a competitor. And if I don't cater to a competitor or that group of people, I'm going to suffer in attendance, and there's a lot that they can get from the method, I think, because most local events most of the workouts aren't any longer than 10 minutes. That's just it's not fun for spectators, so they keep them pretty low. And I mean, I think it fits right in. And when 85% of our members are scaled competitors, there's not a whole lot of RX meathead just killing it out there. In Dakota, there's a few. So most of them are scaled. So most of the movements that we do, they're going to see there. And I think it fits nicely into competition. I just don't know what that type of a program looks like as far as being really specific to take them to a peak to that competition.
Sure. Well, we do, and that will eventually come out.
I guess let me jump. Let's put that. I'm going to table that and see if Playtech. Do you have anything to add or to what these guys are saying?
No, I mean, I've been doing the programming here at CrossFit Gwinnett for the past 2 months, and I've been implementing sort of power athlete methodology. And what I've noticed is that, first of all, people sort of hate my programming. They feel like it's kind of terrible, but they're lifting a lot, and all of a sudden they're lifting more weight. Yesterday we did 3 rep max back squat and a 1 rep max strict press. Everybody in the gym PR'd. And then after that, we did 10 by 100 meter sprints, and I have to second what you say. Everybody was running. I mean, like a race is fun, right? Everybody wants to win, so it was super cool. And then I do a couple of private athletes too, a professional baseball player and some professional CrossFitters, whatever that means. And I implement the same idea, you know, squats, presses, dynamic pulls, but then I have to have them do that goofy flopping around shit too, because that's what we do in CrossFit competitions. So.
Well, you know, and I guess we've had amazing buy-in at our gym. I mean, our class, the first CrossFit football class that we posted officially, because we, you know, Steve, you've mentioned methodology, and we just had a recent post regarding the Power Athlete methodology and how it relates to CrossFitFootball.com and the program. So we started to follow the programming as it's written for an hour block, 1 class out of our 8 classes a day. And the first day we posted it, we had like 24 people.
Well, it's like the opening of a restaurant.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right.
Some attrition.
Yeah, there has been attrition, but still
minimal.
Yeah, we have 18 people. You know,
and for us too, I mean, our general pop, they don't know that they're kind of following CrossFit football methodology anyways. But what we wanted to do is make a class available. And, you know, for me personally, I was a big proponent for following the site as it read for that day, because I was tired of getting in drop-ins who were like, you know, like, oh, I just want to come to the home of CrossFit football. And I wanted to have this be a place where people could come and do the exact workout that exact day, bang some weights with some people, and essentially kind of have that experience, because I mean, that's what we do. That's what we're used to doing. So like, why not dedicate a class to it? Does that make sense?
I like it. Yeah, I like that.
Do you guys, does anybody at your gym, do you guys, Carl, do you guys follow the football site as is, day of?
No, we follow 1 week behind, just so we know what the week blocks look like, and if we need to change anything.
Obviously, we have some inside info, so we kind of know what we.
Yeah, you got the heads up on that, and we just do that just so if there's anything we need to make slight changes to because of lack of equipment or space, or it's snowing here, we have the knowing ahead of time to be able to do that.
The foresight.
Yeah.
Sure. So what, we'll go with you, Carl. What are some challenges that you run into? Do you run into like equipment challenges or anything? What kind of stands out as you know, a barrier?
I think
obviously we talked about the name a little bit, and you can always, for anybody's who runs a gym, like you can always rebrand it to be like Carl's Get Jacked Challenge Class.
Right. Yeah. So I guess as far as that, we just call it our CrossFit South Bend Strength and Conditioning class.
There you go.
Powered by CrossFit Football class. So it's a bit broader as far as the name reach goes.
Sure.
But I think the biggest one that I've found is kind of the echo of kind of what Chad said, is the time frame. Even though we do go 90 minutes, there still be a time or two when we do go slightly over. Especially on the heavy squat days, because it's taking a while to dig into those, and people are getting pretty high on the reps and need the rest. But I would say for us, pretty much the biggest one is kind of the time hurdle. The equipment really hasn't been too much of a challenge for us.
So
our members have kind of taken on the mode of power athlete. A couple of my CrossFitters that I train personally here have got the socks and everything, and they're all about like being power athletes. So they're also coaches. And so we got some members who sort of refer to themselves as power athletes now, which I think is super cool.
It is super cool.
Start building the culture, build the identity.
That's right, man.
So, and I don't know, I just stepped out for a second, but I'm not sure if we covered this, but a strategy that you can use to try and compress the timeline and still get your lifts in, because really the thing that the magic behind the program is getting in your lifts, the volume of the lifts, the intensity of the lifts, is try to get your pressing. And I know Chad and Hamilton talked about this a bit earlier, but maybe throw the secondary lift into the Metcon and disguise it as like an every minute on the minute approach, and still get your reps and your volume at the required or prescribed intensity for that day.
If you're creating your own program.
Yeah, if you're creating your own programming. So that's really the solution to get a 90-minute program into a 60-minute window is either chop some stuff out or modify it, or start to
get your athletes to the point too where they can start to warm up themselves a bit too. I mean, we put a lot of emphasis on warm-ups. You guys know how long it takes in the seminar just to warm those attendees up. But the more that they can kind of be independent and address any issues they have with their own body, then that'll expedite it as well.
Yeah, that's what we've done. Our members come in a few minutes early, especially if they see it before. Like yesterday, it was 3 rep max back squat and 1 rep max strict press. So a bunch of people, they just come in early and start warming up and stretching, so they're ready to hit it. Still have time for the Metcon. So it ends up being like a 90-minute class, but they're really only in there for 60 minutes with a coach. The first 20, 30 minutes, they're actually getting warmed up.
Sure, and then
not everybody does that. Not everybody does that, but the folks who are going for the real 3 rep max, the real one, not the housewives who are like, 1 kilo more than last week, which is still like 21 kilos, right? But the athletes who really want to get strong have been smart enough to do that. We encourage all of our athletes to do that. So just for safety purposes.
Yeah, for sure. But, and then, there needs to be an emphasis on a dynamic warm up. And I think that builds solidarity in the group too, which is kind of like, we try to reiterate that team environment in our classes. Everyone's on point, everyone's paying attention. And we kind of, we're able to build skill on skill with a little more dynamic movement in our warm up.
But I guess something else to mention here is anyone who's watching this, all 10 double digits, you can throw up a question by clicking the Q&A button on your broadcast page. So if you have any questions or trying to implement this program yourself,
just ask a question so we know you're a real person.
Yeah, everybody who's watching should ask a question.
And I heard, or according to, I don't even know how to check this, but Saul Harris is watching, and Saul, the podcast was just posted, and at minute 30, you're getting a little torn up here by by the crew. But yeah, so if you have any questions, let us know. Let it rip. Let's see.
We're reading some.
Yeah, my man Caleb from OKC just said he loves it. Everybody loves it. What else? So why don't we just catch up, dude? Some
Denny watching? Where's Denny?
I don't know where Denny is. Denny's probably with his 7 daughters.
Yeah, he does have like a little litter of offspring.
Yeah. But I guess some announcements. We got all of our certs booked, so I know.
And Chad, thank you for hosting the last one.
Yeah, Chad, thanks for hosting the last one. And then Steve, we got 2 seminars coming your way. Are you ready for that?
Heck yeah.
Perfect.
Steve's going to be busy during that time.
The only way I could get in is if they came to my gym.
Yeah, he's managed to avoid every past seminar in Georgia ever.
My scheme worked.
And then Carl, we're coming to your spot too.
Yep, in June.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be good. But I don't know, guys, you want to wrap it up? I mean, we've been on the horn for about 20 minutes. Cool little test run, but this is what you could expect.
Hopefully better.
Yeah, moving forward once we get the whole system locked down and a set of instructions on how to get people to join up. So, Chad, thanks a lot, man. Carl.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for hanging on. And then Steve, you're a good man. When are we going to get you back on the podcast?
Yeah, man. Listen, if we had a regular schedule, it's like
Thursday at 11 doesn't work.
No. Listen, Luke messages like 10 minutes before. I'm gonna call in, guys. I'm like, no, Thursday at 11 works if it's every Thursday.
All right.
You gotta
see you in hell, Steve.
You gotta learn how to deal with chaos.
Yeah. Okay. I'm old, dude. I need structure. I drive the same way to work every day. Come on.
All right. Sounds good, guys. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks to everybody who's hanging out and watching it. But keep your eyes peeled for some more substantial subject matter, and we'll get everybody else in here. So take care and happy holidays. We'll see you guys later.
See
All
ya.
right, see you guys.
See you
Happy
guys.
holidays.